Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Martucci here with the Across the Sky podcast, Lee Enterprises National Weather Podcast. I am joined this week with Sean Sublette from the Richmond Times Dispatch, Matt Holiner in the Midwest. Kirsten Lang is on maternity leave. We wish her the best. She delivered a healthy baby boy not too long ago, so congratulations to her. We miss her, and we'll see her in a couple of months. She'll be back here on the podcast sometime later in June or July. Guys, this week we're talking about snow, and I know for many of you listening, you're like, hey, snow season ended a month ago or 2 months ago, or if you're like Sean and I, we didn't even have a snow season. But that is a much different story out west. We'll take you to Lake Tahoe, where one town, Tahoma, got 435.4 inches of snow. Another place got over 700 inches of snow, and that is with Donnie Francis. He is the road district superintendent for Placer County in California, was talking to us all about. You may not know Placer County, but you do know one of the towns there. That is Tahoe City. It's right at Lake Tahoe. They actually have an interesting mix of the valley areas, the foothills, and then these mountains here. We had the pleasure of chatting with him. We'll go over to Sean. This was quite the episode, especially for us, Sean, where I think we saw maybe combined 0.8 inches of snow between Richmond and South Jersey.
I mean, yeah, our big snow seasons here are 20 or 30 inches, and they would get that in a day. Several hundred inches of snow this year in Tahoe. And, his county there goes from the Central Valley all the way up toward Lake Tahoe. So they have a huge range in elevation there, and they have to serve areas around ski resorts too. So they have a wide variety of terrain they've got to handle, narrow roads, and you have these population, these small population centers that are densely populated right around the ski areas. And just some of the things that they have to do to get this job done are phenomenal.
Well, after this winter and all the snow, the pictures we were seeing on social media and all the news stories about just round after round, we knew we had to get somebody on the podcast to talk about that, who is out there in the trenches dealing with it. So we're like, gotta be somebody from the Department of Transportation or somebody who's clearing the roads, because what does it take to clear hundreds of inches of snow? I mean, where it is just dumping and dumping. So I'm so glad that we got him on the show. Because it is truly a unique experience, and this hasn't happened in a long time. So some good stories to share.
Yeah, especially when he talks about the number of hours that they've worked over the years and taking care of the ski resorts. And when he was talking about the ski resorts, I was like, I wonder why they would take care of those, roads right around there. But it's such a huge tourist attraction, obviously, for everybody who's coming. And if you can't get to the ski resort, the county's losing out on money from the businesses. And I think I know I don't know if you guys saw, there was one photo of the snow actually up to the ski lift, the chairs there on the chairlift, where they couldn't even move the chairlift. The snow was so high. So it was pretty incredible. So without further ado, we're going to turn it over to Donnie Francis, and we're going to talk all about this season's snow near Lake Tahoe. So we are here with Donnie Francis from Placer County in California here. He is with the Public Works Department. He is a road district superintendent, and he has seen a lot of snow all winter and, hey, spring long too. Donnie, good to be here with you today. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good. We're doing good. You were saying when we were recording this on April 20th that it's a nice sunny day and some 80-degree weather comes. So that'll take out, maybe 1 or 2% of the hundreds of inches of snow this winter. It's certainly been near record-breaking to record-breaking across the area. Let me ask you this, and I do a couple of road department stories a year, mostly in New Jersey, or I should say all in New Jersey, of course. What's the mindset of your road crews going into the winter, and let's just say going into this winter, and what's the morale like after such a tremendous snow season? I know it's still going to be going in parts, but what's the feeling like before and after?
I think after, a long summer, it gets pretty hot here too. A lot of people look forward to winter, and, we got a lot of people in the valley down here that volunteer to plow snow. in the snow districts. So we got 3 snow districts. There's about 9, 10 guys per district. So I think a lot of them look forward to it, getting up there, because they know they're going to make a lot of extra money, get to play in the snow, run heavy equipment. So that's always a morale booster until you get these record-breaking storms where guys are stuck up there. We have to put them in a condo or hotel for, I think the last stretch was 31 days straight. They're away from their family. So I think some people really dig it, they love it. And some people kind of just, taper off and get tired. And because you're working 12 to 16 hours a day, maybe noon to midnight or midnight to noon. So it gets tiring. So then, a lot of people look forward to the spring and summer after that.
Sure. And from what I see here, and this is a total from a cooperative observer program station associated with the National Weather Service, 316 inches of snow in Tahoe City. Donnie, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I've even seen 316 inches of snow in my life in New Jersey, let alone in one winter. I believe Colfax saw 62 inches of snow. Can you give us a lay of the land? What does the county look like geographically and on a climate basis as well, in terms of what you're seeing during the winter months within the county?
So we see everything from flooding to, rock slides, mudslides, significant amounts of snow. We go from a valley level of, a couple 100 feet elevation where it's flat farmlands, rice growers, and you get a lot of flooding down there. Up here to the foothills, you'll see some snow, and then up to 7,000 feet on Donner Summit, where we got, actually this year record is 730 inches of snow. And we plow roads at 7,000 foot elevation. Soda Springs, Serene Lakes, we see the most snow there. I think we're usually right top most snow in the United States for, and expenditures. We've spent up to 5 million, a year in snow removal. So we go from valley to mountains on the I-80 corridor. Caltrans takes care of 80, but we take care of all the subdivisions, side roads, and everything in Placer County. It's a pretty big area, 1,100 miles of roads we take care of. And depending on elevation, you'll get, of those 1,100, 300 to 500 miles of snow-covered roads that we have to plow. Big area.
Absolutely. I'm trying to wrap my mind too around 730 inches of snow. And I'm trying to get an idea of what your workflow is like. Like, how often are those plows having to go? Like, what was the worst period of it for you? I mean, I'm sure you've been busy all winter long and into the spring, but what was the busiest stretch for you? And how many drivers did you have out, and how frequently were they having to clear the roads?
Late February, I want to say the 27th and 28th, we got 52 inches of snow in that 48-hour period. We had bad storms in December, late February. Just in Tahoe, we have 12 graders with push plows, 8 blowers, 4 push plow trucks. It takes, just in Tahoe, when we go to 24-hour shifts, we did a stretch of 31 days straight where we worked, and that takes up to 28 guys to run that equipment around the clock. And then you come down the hill this way a little bit, and actually higher up elevation. When I say down the hill, our farthest north is Tahoe City, but before that's Donner Summit. And there we have 4 more graders, 5 rotary snow blowers, multiple push plows, because when the snow level drops, it come all the way down here to Auburn. Then we got to get our valley guys, and we have 2-wheel drive plow trucks down here with chains, and it's go 24/7.
Yeah. So Sean here in Virginia again, just for some kind of additional perspective, we know it has not been as busy. The last previous few seasons have not been as busy as this year, obviously. But can you speak to how much more busy you are regarding time commitments and manpower in terms of getting these things done? I mean, is it 6, 7 times the workflow? Is it 1 or 2 times the workflow? Was there a big hiring to get people? Were you running out of resources? In terms of what we've seen in years before this snow year, how has this taxed your resources?
I've been here 22 years, and it's the worst I've ever seen. We've had to contract out about 4 contractors to help us remove snow and plow extra snow. We have school routes we can't get to. Some days they don't want to close the school, so we have contractors. We've rented extra graders and push plows. We don't really hire extra help other than contractors, but we have 80 men in our road department, and we ask for volunteers every year to go up to sorry about that, to go volunteer to plow snow. So I mean, it takes, at one time there's probably 40-50 guys working at once just to plow snow.
So in terms of the weather part of this, the weather forecast, who are you working with? Who are your weather partners or partner that you're working with throughout the winter?
Mostly NOAA.
Got it. So the National Weather Service. And are you actually speaking with them, or are you speaking with them over the phone, or is it something where you're just you're reading their forecasts on their website? How does that work? And before these big, let's say your bigger events, how far out are you planning with their forecast?
Well, we have meetings with NOAA once, twice a year, and when we have these big events coming in, we'll team up with Office of Emergency Services, which they work with the weather all more than we do. So we'll go have meetings with them and just kind of get a game plan together of what we're going to do, and even after, and how we're going to recover from it. We have people get trapped in their homes, OES, sheriff, search and rescue. Everybody's on board to chip in and help get through that. On average, an average year for us is about 215 inches of snow, and this year, significantly more at 730. So,
and I should ask too, where do you live? Are you living in the mountains, or are you down in the valley?
I'm in the foothills actually, so I'm right in the middle of it all. But I've worked in every district we have in my 22 years here, so I've seen the flooding, the snow. We had early winter, we had trees, low snow, which brought down tons of trees. So then we go into tree clearing mode, and then we had to hire contractors for that. I think we put out 500,000 for 5 contractors to help clear roads and just open it up for emergency services, and so we can get plows in there to open the roads.
Okay, so here's kind of another daunting question I have, and with my little Eastern bias here, so I apologize. But once you remove this snow, where do you put it?
Good question. That's why when you're driving up our roads up there, the walls of snow are like 20 foot high. So it's just a process, a repeated process constantly, where when it's snowing, plows are on the ground pushing it to the side. You can ramp it off in certain places, but we don't have right of way. We just have road edge. So we plow. When you get a break in the storm, then we send all of our rotary snow blowers out, which cut the snow back. We blow it as far back as we can. Sometimes there's some open area we can blow it. I mean, we have to stick it between houses. For instance, in Serene Lakes, the walls are 20 feet high, and sometimes you don't know where you're blowing it. You have to have the experience, so you're not burying propane tanks, putting it on people's roofs. I mean, we blow in windows quite often because you just can't see where it's going. So yeah, it's just a process of pushing it off the road, and then your roads get so narrow, you're down to one lane, or you close them. Then you just blow the snow as far as back as possible. Some places like in Tahoe City, Caltrans has to blow it in the back of dump trucks and haul it out because there's just no place to put it. And we almost ran into that this year.
Wait, say that. Explain that to us one more time, because I might have missed it. Are you saying you're putting plow in other dump trucks to hold the snow? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so there's some tight little neighborhoods and cities up there, Tahoe City, Kings Beach for one, where there's businesses and sidewalks. You get so much snow, you can only plow it so far. Then you have to blow it with a rotary snow blower and blow it in the back of a dump truck and haul it out to a staging area.
Oh my gosh.
Basically,
Wow.
they do that every year in Kings Beach and Tahoe City.
Wow. Listen, if you're listening to this podcast and you live out in the Mountain West, and I'm sure you get it. I think for the three of us here who, we've seen snow, but not snow like that. That's just a wild experience. We're here with Donnie Francis from the Placer County Department of Public Works. We're talking all about their crazy snow they had this past winter on the Across the Sky podcast. We'll be back with you after the break.
August 31st, Lil Baby presents It's Only Us Tour
Made it out the trenches this type of
at Capital One Arena. Get ready for an epic summer. Lil Baby's IOU Tour has finally touched down. It's Lil Baby live in concert featuring the Kid LaRoy, Glorilla, Rilo Rodrigo, and Honcho. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Brought to you by Mammoth Live and AG Touring.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Across the Sky podcast, Lee Enterprises National Weather Podcast. You can catch new episodes every Monday wherever you get your podcasts or on your favorite Lee Enterprises news website. Here we are with Donnie Francis. He takes care of the county roads that surround Lake Tahoe, the same county that Tahoe City is in. That is the one that he is with in the state of California. He is a road district superintendent. He was just telling us in the break here that 4,700 hours worked between the crews this winter. Can you tell us when your first day of plowing was this winter? And we're recording this on April 20th. So when was the last day that you guys have plowed so far?
You're going to stump me on that one.
Oh, man.
On the first day.
It doesn't have to be exact day.
October,
Okay.
November. And then, the storms come and go. Our worst part of the winter was beginning of December and end of February. Last time we plowed snow was actually last Monday. We got a couple inches up on the summit.
Right. Okay. And that's April 17th is what you're saying then. Just a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. And you were saying you actually plow some of the ski resorts as well. Tell us about that.
Well, we have three. Actually, Tahoma has one too. But our main ski resorts are Palisades, Olympic Valley, which used to be Squaw Valley. They held the Olympics there in the 60s, the Winter Olympics. And then we have Alpine Meadows. So these are ski resorts in Placer County subdivisions. So there's lots of streets. So we plow all the roads in and out and the subdivisions. The ski resorts plow their own parking lots and, groom their runs and stuff. But yeah, those are elevations at around like 7,000 feet. Get a lot of snow.
And Donnie, I'm curious, when you're in the worst of it, like that period you mentioned at the end of February, how do you prioritize? I mean, when the snow is just dumping and you're trying to get as many people out there as possible, I mean, it's just a continuous process going 24/7. How do you prioritize which areas are getting the most coverage and which areas are you going to most frequently? Is it by population? Is it by how big the road is, how significant it is? Is it by how much you just go to the snowiest area and focus on that? I mean, especially being such a large county and when it's snowing everywhere, how do you prioritize which areas to really focus on?
Well, in Tahoe City, so we have 10 zones and we have our own road district department there. And then Colfax has their own, and they plow Donner Summit and Soda Springs area. So they have a few different areas, zones we call them. And in Tahoe City, we have 10 zones. So normally you start your zone at point A and end at B, right? So, but on these heavy storms, by the time you get halfway through your zone, you can't even tell you plowed. So prioritizing by main roads and main accesses. So we'll just go hit school routes, main roads. Main roads, I mean by like Alpine Meadows Road that goes into that huge subdivision, Olympic Valley. So you start out with your main arteries. When you get these heavy snowstorms, start out with your main arteries to keep them open for emergencies and stuff like that. And then when you get those open, you branch off into your side streets and stuff. And that's on a heavy storm. Normally, you plow a zone from beginning to end, and then you start it all over. And it's just a process because the snow doesn't stop sometimes. So you might start at your zone, By the time you get back there, there's another 12 inches.
That's just it again, it's tough for me to fathom. So let me ask you this. Are there, even in a normal year, are there roads that are very high elevation that you're just like, well, we're just not going to touch these this year. They're not easy to access in the first place, so we just let them go. And if so, are there additional ones in a year like you just had where you're like, we just can't keep up with everything, so we're going to make these other ones exceedingly low priority and just let the snow pile up? Is there anything like that going on at all?
Rarely, because we have residents that need, access in and out. So we've rarely let anything go. But we did this year have to leave some while we concentrated on the main arteries. So yeah, there was roads that were inaccessible for a short amount of time. And, they get so much snow where you can't push the snow. So you take a blower out there and you just open it up with the blower. And then you got cleanup behind that. So it's just a long process. We're supposed to plow every road once, one pass every 12 hours, two passes every 24 hours. And that's just kind of our motto, just to keep everybody safe and have access.
You said that you're born and raised in the area. You were in Sacramento and then moved to the foothills here. Most of the crews that you work with, are they people who, are they from the area? Do they understand what it is in such a, snow heavy region like Tahoe? Is most of your crews local? Or do you have people who are coming from around the country? Or and I don't even know, do you have people say, hey, I want to come here because I love plowing snow so much. This is where I want to be. Is this a haven for people who love snow plow?
We have a guy from Maine, actually. He just retired. He splits his time from there and here now because he loves the snow so much. But he worked for us for years and he was the foreman in Tahoe. But normally it's just local people from around, I'd say around California. I don't think anybody flocks here to work, but it's mostly local people. A lot of people that have grown up here, and they know what's happening, where we get snow and where we don't.
Do you run up against people who have relocated there recently and really have had to learn what this is all about, or most of the people that are in your service area have been there a long time and they kind of get it? Or do you still run into these people who are relatively new and are surprised?
Yes, that's one of the biggest problems we have for complaints is people that move to Tahoe from maybe the Bay Area. And if it was this year, then yeah, they're always calling. And when's the plow coming? I haven't seen a plow. You haven't plowed in days. Well, we have a Zonar system on our plows that we can go to. It's a GPS. And we can track them and look and see where the plow's been. So we can say, no, it's been plowed. It just snowed another foot since you looked. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a huge hurdle for us, is to curb the complaints, because we got young people, young money that moves up there, and they want stuff done now. And it's winter like this, it's hard to keep up with. Just in a normal winter, it's hard to keep up with, but yeah, we got a lot of new people in the area and they've never experienced snow like this before. So lots of complaints this year.
And I'm sure after a winter like this, with so many crews out there plowing for so many hours, I'm sure you've heard a few good stories of this season. Is there one in particular, though, from just chit-chatting with the guys as they're coming back and forth, coming in for a quick break and going back out? Is there one story in particular from this season that stands out to you?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of good and bad. You get more complaints than you do, pats on the back. But, probably the best one was when we had the avalanche in Olympic Valley. Huge avalanche came down and hit some condos. So, of course, they call us to the rescue. We have to get in there and open it up for emergency search and rescue and that. So we sent graders out there and blowers, and that was probably the best story of the year, just to help out and, save some people and get them out to safety. Comparing this to the record-setting storms since they've been recorded, we're number 2 right now. Behind 1982, they got over 800 inches. There's a story, it's called 1982 Avalanche Alpine Meadows, and that one actually killed some people. That was the biggest record-setting snowfall ever recorded here. So this was kind of a flashback because I just watched that documentary. And then here we get hit with another avalanche when I'm coordinating snow removal. So that was a good story just to help out.
Could you give people a scale of about how much terrain an avalanche is covering? You know, there's been an avalanche. How big of like a square mile area do you have to go, you know, effectively excavate after an event like this, just to a ballpark?
I haven't seen anything bigger than probably a square mile.
Okay.
So usually there's multiple avalanches in years like this. They may come down on the highway. There's a self-triggered avalanche control that Alpine Meadows does. They set off compression bombs and they cause them themselves. And sometimes it covers our road. We have to clean them up, but don't usually see a lot of avalanches that consume buildings or people, So this was a first for me.
Those compression bombs sound similar to prescribed burning for wildfires. They're intentionally set off to limit something that's unintentional and bigger. And I didn't know that actually. So that was good you said that. You also brought up the record snowfall amount. I believe you said it was in the 1980s. What I'm curious about is, could you tell us how technology has changed with plowing snow over the decades, in terms of either equipment or salting or brining, even how much weather has, weather forecasting and improvements there has impacted your job? It's
changed a lot. Like, for instance, in 82, watching the documentary, you see these old trucks with push plows on them and stuff. It's like, how do you even, I think that's back when they lost roads or there wasn't enough population up there. They didn't have to plow as much. So it's been getting a lot of better. When I started in 2000, I was running a 1959 International snowblower.
That was old back then too.
Yeah. So yeah, we've gotten a lot of new equipment, but yeah, it's changed a lot. We have a lot more equipment. It's still, though, it's not enough to keep up with the population and the houses they're building and, roads, and we're getting new equipment constantly. We got new graders this year. We got new blowers. So we're getting up to date with equipment finally. I think our oldest piece of equipment is like a 95 blower, which is about done.
Yeah, I bet, especially after this winter. And, my final question for you, Donnie, is, now that we're getting these warmer temperatures and finally less snow, are there any concerns, though, about all the snow that is still piled up in these massive piles, this huge amount of snow? Are there any concerns now that we're getting these warm temperatures with the melting? What are your thoughts about that? What are your crews doing to prepare for all of this melting snow now?
There's already been warnings for flooding, like on the Walker River, but that goes off in towards Nevada. If we get the heat, like there's no in between anymore. It seems like with these winters to summers, it goes from cold as heck to 100 degrees. And with this much snow up there, all of our reservoirs are finally full or close to, so they're letting water out. Rivers are at capacity. So they're predicting some more flooding from all the snow melt that's coming because it's already warming up quick. It's, like I said, it's going to be 80 this week. So that'll turn to 100 within probably a month. So for us, about all we can do is close roads. We don't have the power to build levees or stuff, but, our state does, and they do. We've had some breaches in levees this year, caused a lot of flooding and loss of houses and stuff. But yeah, there's already some warnings for that.
Well, this was very eye-opening, especially if you live in a place that doesn't get snow. But even for the three of us here who are low on the snow totem pole, Midwesterners and Mid-Atlantic people here, it was really interesting to hear your insight, Donnie. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up with the podcast?
Oh, I just wish I had some pictures to show you. It would blow your mind.
We'll do the video series next time.
Yeah, there you go.
If you do have some photos, though, in the next couple of days, shoot us an email. We can get some out as we talk about this episode before we release it here, which I'm sure everyone's listening to now, either on April 24th or sometime thereafter. But otherwise, we really appreciate the time and hope you guys have a nice long summer break here. And hopefully next winter will be a fun challenge, but hopefully not record-setting like this past winter. So thank you again for the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll definitely send you some pictures.
Awesome. Sounds good. We are going to take one more break. Then the three of us, we're going to wrap it on up here on the Across the Sky podcast.
Spring is here. That means it's time to get out and get on the road in my all-new 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid. You heard right. The Honda CR-V is available in a hybrid model. I'm pretty excited about this. I've been waiting for the right time to make the switch to a hybrid, and I'm so glad I did. Not only am I greener, I can take on any terrain with the available real-time all-wheel drive and sport mode. Make a move to one of the most electrifying Honda vehicles yet. Find your CR-V hybrid at your local Honda dealer today.
Thanks again to Donnie for the time here. We know things have been slowing down for him, at least on the snow aspect. But like you said, they're now moving into flooding season with all that melted snow that's to come. But we do hope he does enjoy a nice long summer here. I actually looked this up. The most snow that I've experienced in a winter season is 68.2 inches. That was in 2010, 2011. And some places didn't even see 10% of that. Or excuse me, that was only not even 10% of what some places up by him saw for the winter. Still truly incomprehensible amount of snow. Matt, what did you think of the interview?
Well, the mountains are just a whole nother animal. If you're a plains person like me, much of the Midwest where it's pretty flat, get some hills. But boy, so when we get a big snow here, you're talking 6, 8, and then of course, real noteworthy. So you're talking about a foot, 14 inches, but to be talking about, just getting 12 inches in a matter of hours, and then, another 12 inches, like that's just an everyday thing up in the mountains. When you get up into elevation, it is truly incredible how much it snows. You get up into the Rockies or Sierra Nevada, and boy, it's remarkable because how much snow in just a short distance, how different it can be when you go from low elevation to high elevation. You get into those colder temperatures and the snow just piles up. It is, some really challenging weather forecasts out there, some really, really tight gradients on the snowfall forecast. Now, forecasting snow is always a challenge, but when you're forecasting the mountains and trying to predict that and wrap your mind about forecasting, 5 feet of snow, making a forecast for that, and then another system coming in right behind it. And so, shout out to Donnie and those crews. I cannot believe how busy they were this winter. But it's important work, too. Gosh, all the people that are being impacted, and, people need to get on with their lives, need to get to school, get to work, but they need help to get to work and get to school. And folks like Donnie and his crews make it happen. So shout out to them for dealing with one heck of a winter.
Yeah, and there's still so much snow sitting on the ground there. I just pulled up a visible satellite image, and I'm just looking at the Sierra right now, just packed with snow, deep whites, bright whites on the satellite imagery, all the snow that's just sitting there in the Sierra. And as he mentioned, a lot of it's melting, and the water is high. So, they have to manage all of that with rising water from the snow melt. You were talking earlier on, Joe, about how much snow have you seen in a season. The most I've seen is about 100 inches, 110 inches. And that's when I was up at Penn State in the early 90s. We had a brutal winter, 93, 94. But that was the last time I'd been through something that one might call a truly bad winter. That was brutally cold, brutally snowy. It wasn't here in Virginia. It was the Central Mountains of Pennsylvania.
Although can you get over 100 inches of snow in Virginia, Sean? Some of the mountains?
Nah, I think you might be able to pull it off in far northwestern Virginia, in the higher elevations in Frederick County, or maybe in the very high elevations of deeper southwestern Virginia, out past I-77. But even that's a tough nut to crack, as we used to say.
Got it.
And we certainly hope that they catch a little bit of a break here. Hopefully, as all this snow melts, they're not going to be just as busy closing down roads. And, because I'm sure, inevitably there's going to be some road closures due to flooding, but we certainly hope it's not going to be a widespread issue and they can relax a little bit. Boy, they need it after this winter.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Across the Sky podcast. We'll be back with you next week. And gosh, it's going to actually be May next week, which sounds kind of crazy. This year is flying by. Last year, I did not think it flew by. This year has. But we're going to have a whole bunch of guests for you lined up as we go into May. Of course, we have severe weather season. We're getting into hurricane season 2 that officially begins June 1st in the Atlantic Hurricane Basin. 3 of us will keep you updated as we go on over the next couple of weeks. So thanks again for listening to the Across the Sky podcast.
August 31st, Lil Baby presents It's Only Us Tour
Made it out the trenches this type of
at Capital One Arena. Get ready for an epic summer. Lil Baby's IOU Tour has finally touched down. It's Lil Baby live in concert featuring the Kid LaRoy, Glorilla, Rilo Rodrigo, and Honcho. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Brought to you by Mammoth Live and AG Touring.